We having fun? I mean, come on. The world is ending in 2 days. Let's have fun. Not kidding. Let's have fun. All right, you ready for your next comedian coming to the stage? Are you ready for your next comedian coming to the stage? I'll yell. I'm louder. All right. I started doing comedy almost 2 years ago. One of the first comedians I ever met, a very funny man. We call him the Professor. Listen up. Chris Martin, ladies and gentlemen.
Good to be back in Colonial Heights. Last time I was here, I bombed so badly they changed the name of the town to Colonial Depths. Bad news, Japan is radioactive. The good news, they finally have something to do with all those lead toys the Chinese make. At a time when everyone's worried about earthquakes, it's really a good idea for Kirstie Alley to be on Dancing with the Stars. French police are arresting Muslim women for wearing full veils. Sadly, however, they're not cracking down on even more heinous fashion offense, the muffin top. Steven Tyler doesn't look so hot on American Idol. In fact, death looks like Steven Tyler warmed over. Joe Biden fell asleep during Barack Obama's budget speech. He blamed his night job as an air traffic controller. Bristol Palin got plastic surgery. Not only does absence make the heart grow fonder, but abstinence makes the nose grow thinner. What's the difference between Newt Gingrich and Mitt Romney? Newt had 3 wives, and Mitt wishes he had 3 wives. NASA had to delay the deployment of the Mars rover. Took longer than they expected to bargain the price down at the scooter store. Damn. My psychic said that joke would suck. Bad news. Baby seal hunting season has begun off the coast of Newfoundland and Canada. Good news, they're using a more humane technique. They shake the baby seals instead of clubbing them. 51st birthday of the Pillsbury Doughboy. Sadly, he's never recovered from his molestation at the hands of the Michelin Man. 150th anniversary of the Civil War. We made a lot of progress since then. Back then, Jefferson Davis owned black women. Today, Charlie Sheen just rents them. Thank you. All those statues of Confederate generals on Monument Avenue in Richmond suggest a slogan for Richmond: #1 in horses' asses. Last week was race week in Richmond. I thought every week was race week in Richmond. Ran into a black guy in Shockoe Bottom, where they had 28 auction houses and slave markets. I asked him how he was doing. He said, "I'm just hanging." In other words, things haven't changed that much in 200 years. Too soon? Forget mafia wars. If you play Indian wars, you get to steal an entire country. Saw a drunk black guy in an alley in Richmond wearing a Chiefs jacket. I'm so glad he's over that whole Buffalo Soldiers thing. Some things never change. He was still toting a Colt 45. Director of the Virginia Holocaust Museum wears a Stetson hat and cowboy boots. We could ask Native Americans from Richmond if they're offended. However, there are no Native Americans from Richmond left. The United States tried to exterminate Native Americans, and all they got were beads, blankets, and several helicopters named after them. Germans tried to exterminate the Jews, and they got a whole country, Natalie Portman, and kosher Coke. Either the Jews really are the chosen people, or somebody needs to get a better lawyer. Code name for the operation to kill bin Laden was Geronimo. That's offensive. They should have given it a code name Cheney because they shot him in the face. They changed the color-coded alerts from Homeland Security. Now use only 2 colors. Before they had a bunch of colors. Green meant safe. Yellow was elevated. Red was a high level of alert. And brown meant change your underwear. I live in kind of a bad neighborhood. Somebody tried to get into my apartment at 2 o'clock in the morning. Scared. Man, my mouth was drier than Betty White's vagina. Somebody left a bag of dog poop on my back porch. It's kind of old school. Why can't they just leave nasty comments on my YouTube channel like everybody else? Now's the time I consult my cheat sheet. Always happens. Okay, you ever walk down the street and run into one of those CDs that somebody's thrown out on the sidewalk? I think that's like the ultimate form of music criticism. You hate an album so much that you're willing to try and decapitate a pedestrian with it. This is Ozzy Osbourne's greatest hits. And personally, I thought Ozzy Osbourne's greatest hits were Vicodin and cocaine. Katie Couric is not going to be on the CBS News anymore. Frankly, I thought the only audience for Katie Couric was a certain percentage of the male population that wanted to come on her face. The only audience for Diane Sawyer is a certain portion of the female population that fantasizes about kicking her ass. And the only audience for Brian Williams is a certain portion of the male population that would like to see him gang raped in a Serbian prison. Tragedy the other day, an autistic... Took a while for that one to sink in. Tragedy the other day in Tennessee. It takes about $3.2 million to raise an autistic child, and an autistic child found out there was a fire in his trailer, and he got his father out. Sadly, he was confused. He ran back in, and you have to wonder if the father was thinking in the back of his mind, run back into a burning trailer, $3.2 million, run back into a trailer and save my kid, $3.2 million. And on that low note, that's my time. My name's Chris Martin. Thank you very much. Give it up for Benny's for putting on this show. Give it up for Jason Klingman for being the MC. Yeah.
Dance.
Chris Martin, the professor. You just got all the news you needed just now. Woo! All right, we're halfway through, people.